Right, well, when I first went to university at Wits in 1963, I'd been very influenced by our science teacher at school, so I thought I was going to become a physicist. So I started off doing mathematics and physics and chemistry. But after doing physics for a year, I realized I wasn't going to become a physicist, so I looked around for something else. And then there was this new subject that had just really started called statistics. I also didn't know anything about, so I thought that looked interesting. And I started studying statistics in the second year. And I liked it, so I went on to do honours. And at that time, the honours degree in statistics was a part-time degree. You had to really be working at the same time. They wanted you to have some experience of applying statistics in practice while you were doing your honours. And one of the lecturers at the time suggested, why don't you try the NIPR, which I'd never heard of at the time. I wasn't doing psychology or anything like that, but I went down to the NIPR and did the selection tests. So I was quite grateful for the selection tests, because when I got back to the class, somebody else said, oh yeah, I went to apply for that job too and they wouldn't take me. So thank goodness for the selection tests, because a lot of good things happened to me at the NIPR, so I was pleased to get that job. Another thing that was very good at that time was that there was some very highly qualified leading statisticians around, like Michael Brown. So that was, in a way, he mentored me all the way through my master's and my PhD degree, which was really very useful indeed, because statistics was taken very seriously at the NIPR. I think right from the early days. I think Prof. Sichel was there initially, and then Michael Brown was the chief statistician. And that was really a very high-powered environment to work in. I did a master's in psychology on cluster analysis, and then a PhD in multidimensional scaling, also under Michael Brown, who then left the NIPR and moved to UNISA, so I also moved my PhD degree to UNISA. Then later on, Richard Hall, who was my first boss at the NIPR, he was the head of the computer section where I was working at the time. He decided that everybody had to get involved in this new discipline of computer science, so he enrolled most of the graduates in the division in a postgraduate diploma in computer science, which was the first such diploma that had been run in the country under Professor Derek Henderson, which was very interesting. I was, at the time, quite impressed with Richard Hall, that he was prepared to go along with his staff and go through the course, even though he was quite old at the time. So I guess I followed in his footsteps later on. When I was about 47, I decided that the new field of artificial intelligence was very interesting, and I decided to enroll for a master's in computer science in artificial intelligence, which really gave me quite a broad background to work on a lot of problems that I've been working on ever since. Currently I'm lecturing at Wits in the management faculty in the School of Public and Development Management. And I'm still doing statistics, although they tend to disguise it now. They don't call it statistics. It's usually quantitative methods or research methodology or something like that that the master's students have to do. Well, I started off in the computer division with Richard Hall. There was also a very good computer programmer there called Clive Moss, who helped to set up a lot of this quite leading-edge systems at the NIPR, and we worked on developing. Those days the computer packages weren't as comprehensive as they are now, so we developed our own computer package, including leading-edge methods developed by Michael Brown and so on, so it was very interesting to do that. Then I moved into another division called the Psychometric Statistics Division, which was led by Michael Brown, which I took over when he left to go to UNISA. After that, I moved a few more times to the Psychometrics Division under Wynand Steyn and Malcolm Coulter. And then in the latter years, twilight years of the NIPR, things started to fall apart a bit, especially from the computer point of view, because when we were taken over or merged with the HSRC, the computer division fell away and the computer work was done at the HSRC. So I was moved, funnily enough, to a division called Human Development, led by Peter Franks. then after a few years there, the whole thing more or less came to an end. And I was faced with the choice of moving to Pretoria with the HSRC or looking for another job. So I took my chances, and by a strange coincidence, I was able to start the very next day after I left in RPR at the Faculty of Management at Wits in the School of Public and Development Management, mostly lecturing to master's students in statistics, which is what I've been doing until the present.